next on the list, well, it's actually the couple of next points. I could have subcategorized one of these. On the 27th of September, we of course had the assault of a trans woman, Anna Montgomery, who was assaulted in like the middle of a crowded restaurant in Belfast. Those of you who hang around the channel, I'm sure many of you have seen like the video on that. Pretty much what happened was a trans woman was in Belfast with her boyfriend. They were having a lovely night. They were sat down. It was a lovely restaurant, and someone singled her out and assaulted her, effectively bludgeoning her nose and cutting her forehead in the process. Thankfully, the restaurant staff were quick to act. She was very thankful to the restaurant staff. But again, like, she had taken photos before the assault happened, and then after, and like you can see the same posters in the background of both, and it's just like, it's just really awful with everything that is constantly going on. And it does show just how toxic the whole situation is becoming, in the fact that trans people are still not safe in, brightly lit areas with other people. That's how emboldened these bigots feel, because they've been sold a narrative of, this whole narrative of trans women are a danger to you, all trans people are trying to convert, butch lesbians and all this. And they feel emboldened, they feel like they're doing the right thing, so assaulting someone in public, in the public eye, it doesn't seem like a big thing. And like, the really shocking thing about this is, as we finally posted the video, because me and Levi worked overtime, like getting that video done, because I had another video prepared. I was going to record that, but then it's like, no, this is important. This needs doing now. As I went to post that video, quite literally within minutes, I saw a second trans person in Northern Ireland had been assaulted, and it was like, it was everything I talked about in the video with the environment and the toxicity coming to light. It was all of that, like, realized, and it's just like, whenever is this going to end? The other trans person, like, I've been following them, I've been tracking how they're doing. They got support for their, for their medical bills, because they had some extra medical bills they needed paying off. They got some support for that. But like, they're a minor as well. They were assaulted on their way to educational establishment, and they didn't want to be named and everything. And that's fair, it would be fucking terrifying. First of all, you're assaulted, and then like you're in the public eye. So I was like, okay, we'll mention it, but we're not going to give details or anything that could help someone track them down. But yeah, so it was just. It really is just horrific. It bleeds into everything, the GRA reform being scrapped, more transphobic content put out by people like Rowling, and it feels like a never-ending shit show, really.
It's scary when you think about it. Like, if you're a trans person, you can't even go to a restaurant anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How do you live when you're not safe in public? What's next? Is someone going to be attacked in a shop? Are trans people not going to be able to go food shopping anymore and be safe?
That's the thing. There's always been the fear, but there's been this hope that things would get better, and no, it's just things seem to be getting more and more toxic. It's a shame, as like the medical establishments are like supporting us and the courts are supporting us, the reactionaries are turning to the general public to fight back. And
what's terrifying is, if you look at the surveys, the majority of the public support us as well, but it's just a small, loud minority who are making things impossible.
Yeah. It's just, yeah. So again, we'll have to keep track of that. Okay.
Can't walk to school without fear either, that's a good point.
That's, like, how are you supposed to live in the UK? How are you supposed to live?
And Of course, the answer is you're not, and that's the point,
Yeah.
and that's terrifying.
It's this form of stochastic terrorism, this idea of like they're constantly feeding people this narrative that trans people are a danger, are a threat, especially to children, in hopes that, you know, a couple of people get the idea of being heroes by assaulting trans people. So, yeah.